As you can see from this print head nozzle check from the Epson Artisan 50, we're having a little bit of problems with one of our colors, which is cyan, our cyan cartridge. So a common way to go and fix this is to clean the spikes inside of your printer. First thing you gotta do is initialize your cartridge replacement procedure. It'll go ahead and move into the park position. After it's in the park position, it'll detach from the bottom and you can move the carriage left and right. Go ahead and remove all the cartridges. Once you remove all the cartridges, if you look deep inside the well, you'll see that there's these little spikes right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get Windex or rubbing alcohol, spray it on a napkin, and wipe down the very tips of these spikes. There's little holes on each spike where ink travels through, and it's easy. You could easily get clogged there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Make sure you just don't get too much fluid actually into the printer. And since we're having problems with cyan, I'm going to focus more on cyan first. Make sure you take your time and clean the rest of the other spikes. But since we didn't really have any issues with the other spikes, I'm not going to really worry too much about it. But still, since we're here, we're going to do that. Since we're already inside the printer too, we're going to go ahead and inspect the rest of your printer. If you look inside the well here, make sure there's not any excess ink here. If there is, you could go ahead and use a napkin and dab it up. Any ink that's on this metal railing could be wiped out with napkin and Windex or rubbing alcohol. We're going to push this carriage all the way to the left. And the final thing I'm going to do is, if you look over here, you'll notice that there's some excess ink here that's been built up over time. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that up. And I'm also going to use a needle and syringe and this little sponge pad right here. I'm going to go ahead and insert my needle in there and try to extract any excess ink that fell into the waste ink reservoir in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so as you see all the excess ink right here, and I'm going to get a needle and syringe. I'm going to insert it into this sponge. You just insert it in various areas throughout the sponge so you could soak up any ink. You can use a napkin to dab it, but it'll take a lot of your napkin. So you see I could extract it. That's not all strictly ink. It's ink and air bubbles in there. That's why it looks like a lot. But other than that, you could just go ahead and squirt this back into a trash can. So I'm going to try one more time. That should be sufficient enough. I cleaned it a little bit earlier, so shouldn't be too much ink left in there. And I'm just going to quickly dab it. Be gentle with it, because if you could actually break this, just dab it and be gentle. And that's how you tune up your Epson printer.